So do you also want to digitalize and organize vendor contracts? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to digitalize and organize vendor contracts with an AI agent. So like you, I also used to manually extract the details from all the vendor contracts and add in spreadsheet. But this is such a time consuming and an error prone task. So to solve this problem, I've simply created this amazing automation where what is going to happen is that as soon as I upload a new file in my Google Drive account, automatically my AI agent is going to extract the details, and further we can add that extracted details into our spreadsheet once again. So to do this, we are simply going to create a connection between Google Drive, my AI agent, which is OpenAI, and Google Sheets. And to create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So if you also want to know this amazing process step by step, then for that you have to come with me towards my screen.
Welcome to my screen. So in this video, I'll show you how to automatically use an AI agent to digitalize and organize your vendor contracts. So using this AI agent, Google Sheets and Google Drive, automation extract the key details like the date, vendor name and the payment terms, then sorts and store them for easy access in Google Sheets. This automation is perfect for procurement teams and business owners who want to ditch manual tracking. So if you also want to create this amazing automation for your own business, then for that you have to stick to this video till the end. So what is going to happen is that from a contract, something like this, we are going to extract all the details and add these details right over here into our spreadsheet. Alright, so to do this, we are simply going to open a new tab and look for the landing page of Pabbly Connect simply by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. And now it is opening the landing page of Pabbly Connect, and now after opening this landing page of Pabbly Connect, we are going to get two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can click on this sign up for free and you are going to get 100 of tasks free every month to explore the application. But over here I'm an existing user, so I'm simply going to click on this button which says sign in. And when we're going to click on the sign in option, it is opening all Pabbly apps, and over here you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications. So I'm simply going to click on this button right over here which says access now to access my Pabbly Connects account. And once we're going to click on this access now, it is opening my dashboard, and to get started with our automation we simply have to click on this button which says create workflow. And now it is asking me for the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So over here I want to save the workflow in this folder which says automations, and I want to name my workflow as this: how to digitalize and organize vendor contracts with an AI agent. So I'm simply going to click on this button which says create, and now with this it is opening the most important window of our automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger and actions are the two main principles on which our workflow is going to run. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by a trigger, and that's the particular reason that we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger in a particular workflow. And to get started, we are simply going to select our trigger application. So for my trigger application, I'm simply going to select it as Google Drive right over here because I have my vendor contracts in my Google Drive. So I'm just going to search for it and select it. And now for the trigger event, we are simply going to select it as new file in a specific folder and click on this button which says connect. And now it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your Google Drive account with your Pabbly Connect's workflow, you can simply click on this select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and now we have to click on this blue button which says sign in with Google. And once we're going to click on this blue button, I'm simply going to select my Gmail account, and once we're going to select the Gmail account, Pabbly is going to ask me for some permissions. So I'm simply going to click on this allow and give Pabbly all the permissions it is asking for because my data is secure with Pabbly. And once we're going to click on this allow, with this we have successfully connected our Google Drive account with our Pabbly Connect's workflow. And now we have to select the folder right over here. So as you can see, the name of my folder is vendor contracts. So I'm just going to select the same which is vendor contracts. So I'm just going to look for vendor contracts and select it. You have to keep in mind that the folder which you're selecting should be a shareable one. So what do I mean by a shareable one? So you have to go towards the folder name, share, and over here once again share. And over here for the permissions, you have to give it the anyone with the link and editor permission. It is really important to give the general access as anyone with the link and editor otherwise the AI agent will not be able to read your contracts. All right, so as you can see that I've successfully given the permission of anyone with the link and editor, so I can successfully select my folder right over here. And now we're going to move on forward and click on this save and send test request. But before clicking on this save and send test request, I'll just let you know that Google Drive is a pooling based application. So pooling based application means that these application will not check for new data instantly. It is going to take some amount of time to check for the new data. And over here in the case of Google Drive, it is saying the trigger will check for new data in 10 minutes. So once I'm just going to click on the save and send test request, Pabbly is going to capture the last response or the latest response made in my Google Drive. So what we're going to do is first I'm just going to drop a file right over here, which is the vendor contract, to make the test submission. So as you can see that I've simply entered, which is uploaded my file right over here. And now after uploading this vendor contract, now I'm just going to go back towards my workflow and click on save and send test request so that Pabbly can capture the response of this one only. And yes, over here you can see that Pabbly has captured the response of the same contract. You can see all the details, you can see the file name and also the contract details. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step and we have successfully captured these file details right over here in our workflow. And now we're going to move on further. Now what is going to happen is whenever I upload a new file in this specific folder right over here, automatically this workflow is going to get triggered in 10 minutes. So over here, if you wish, you can definitely go towards this set trigger time from these three dots and reduce or increase this trigger time. I'm just going to keep it as 10 minutes only, and then we're going to move on further. Alright, so now we're going to move on towards the action. So now for my action application, I'm simply going to select it as OpenAI right over here. So I'm simply going to search for OpenAI and select it. And now for the action event, I'm simply going to select it as extract content from PDF/image. And now we are simply going to click on this blue button which says connect. And now it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your OpenAI account with your Pabbly Connect's workflow, you can simply click on this, select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and now it is asking me for the token. And to get this token, we are simply going to follow the help text, and it is saying kindly visit your OpenAI API key page to get the API key that you need to enter here. So I'm simply going to go towards my OpenAI API key page to get the API key. And after coming over here towards my OpenAI API key page, we are simply going to go towards this create new secret key, and now I'm just going to name my key. So let's say I'm just going to name my key as vendor right over here. So I'm simply going to type vendor. I'm just going to select the project and click on this create secret key button. And now I've successfully created this key. So I'm simply going to copy this key and then we're going to paste it right over here in our workflow. And after pasting this key, I'm simply going to click on this save. And with this, we have successfully connected our OpenAI account with our Pabbly Connect's workflow. And now I'm simply going to select my model, which is GPT-4o mini. We're going to move on further. Now it is asking me for the image/PDF URL. So I'm simply going to enter the PDF URL right over here. But we are not going to enter it manually or by copy pasting it like this, but instead we're going to map it. So you must be wondering what is mapping. So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step where we selected Google Drive as our trigger application. So we are simply going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only, and as soon as we're going to map these details, automatically my details will turn dynamic and change with every new response received. Alright, so I'm simply going to map this web content link right over here. Now we're going to move on forward and I'm just going to enter the prompt. So I'm just going to keep the prompt as I want to extract the details from given PDF. So I'm just going to enter the prompt right over here. And now we're going to move on further towards the structured output. I'm just going to enter the structured output JSON object over here. So to enter this structured output JSON object, we don't need any programming or coding language. What we're going to do is we are simply going to follow this important notes, and it is saying to generate structured output JSON, navigate to this URL. So I'm simply going to open this URL right over here, and once we're going to open this URL, what we're going to do is we are simply going to click on this button which says generate, and over here we have to give this a prompt to generate the JSON schema. So to enter the prompt, I'm just going to open my notepad. Alright, so now we're going to enter the prompt, and how we're going to enter the prompt is first we're going to enter what we want to extract. So I want to extract the vendor name, so I'm just going to enter vendor name, and now in the next line what we're going to enter is the format in which we want this vendor name. So I want this vendor name in a format which is type of text, so I'm just going to enter type of text right over here. Now we're going to move on towards the new line and enter the description. So what is the description? Extract and provide the legal name of the vendor mentioned in the contract. Like this only, I'm just going to do it for all the details. And now you can see that I've successfully written it for all the details which I want to extract. And now I'm simply going to copy it right from here. And we're going to open the same. And we're going to create a JSON schema with the help of this prompt. For that, I'm just going to paste this prompt right over here. And after pasting this prompt, I'm simply going to click on this button which says create to create the JSON schema. And once we're going to click on this create, it is generating me the JSON schema. So we simply have to wait for a few seconds and the JSON schema has been generated. So you can see without knowing a single line of programming or coding, I have generated the JSON schema. So you can also do the same. And now we are simply going to copy this JSON schema and paste it right over here in the structured output field. And after pasting this, we're going to move on forward and click on this blue button which says save and send as request. And once we're going to click on this blue button, automatically my AI agent is going to extract all these details from this given PDF URL and give it as a response right over here so that we can further add that details into our spreadsheet. And yes, we're going to wait for a few seconds till my AI agent is extracting the details. And as you can see that my AI agent has successfully extracted the details. Over here you can see the vendor name, the client name, the contract start date, the end date. Over here you can see the payment terms and also the vendor contact email. So as you can see that my AI agent has successfully extracted these details. And now I'm just going to add these details right over here in my spreadsheet. And to add these details right over here, I'm just going to add another action step. And now for the action application, I'm simply going to select it as Google Sheets. So I'm just going to search for Sheets and select it right over here. And now for the action event, I'm simply going to select it as add new row and click on this connect. And now it is asking me to add a new connection or select an existing connection. So if you have already connected your Google Sheets with your Pabbly Connect's workflow, you can simply click on this, select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection. And now we have to click on this blue button which says sign in with Google. And once we're going to click on this sign in with Google, I'm just going to select my Gmail account with the help of which I want to connect my Google Sheets. And now Pabbly is asking me for some permissions. So what we're going to do is I'm simply going to click on this allow and give Pabbly all the permissions that it's asking for because my data is secure with Pabbly. You can also simply click on this allow because Pabbly is safe. And with this, we have successfully connected our Google Sheets account with our Pabbly Connect's workflow. And now we're going to move on further. Now it is asking me to select the spreadsheet. So I'm simply going to select my spreadsheet right over here, which is vendor contracts index. Now we're going to move on further. I'm just going to select the sheet 2, which is sheet 1, as you can see. Now we're going to move on further. I'm just going to enter all of these details one by one. First, I'm just going to enter the vendor name. So I'm simply going to map it right over here. Then we're going to map the client name. Then we're going to move on further, map the start date right over here. We're going to move on further, map the end date. We're going to move on further. We're going to map the payment terms. And then I'm just going to map the vendor contract email right over here. And after mapping all of these details, we are simply going to click on this blue button which says save and send test request. And once we're going to click on this save and send test request, yes, you can see that we have received a positive response that we have successfully added all of these details into our spreadsheet. So I'm just going to open my spreadsheet and as you can see, all the details have been added right over here. You can see the vendor name, the client name, the contract start date, end date, payment terms and the contract email. So over here you can see these details are exactly the same which we had right over here in our vendor contract. So yes, you can see I've successfully extracted these details and added it right over here in my spreadsheet. And now with this, we have successfully completed this automation. And now what is going to happen is that as soon as I add a new file in a specific folder, which is Google Drive, automatically Pabbly is going to extract the details from that file and add the details into our spreadsheet, that too without any manual intervention. All of this is going to happen in backend and automatically the details would be added right over here. So yes, with this, we have successfully completed our workflow and in this video too. So if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. See you in the next video with many more automation tips, everyone. Thank you for watching.
So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.